Hello, everyone. Heather here. Hope you are doing well. Today, we're talking about the broke mindset won't get you paid. It sounds a little off. That the broke mindset won't get you paid, which is true. All right. So, what if I told you that the only thing standing between you and making six figures or more isn't your skills, your business model, or even your competition? It's your mindset. If you believe that people won't pay you a high ticket price, that you have to work 24/7 to make money, or that you can figure it all out on your own, you're already setting yourself up to fail. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly why your mindset is keeping you broke and the proven shifts that you need to make to start earning what you're truly worth. And by the end, you're going to have a roadmap to go from struggling to thriving in your business. So let's dive in. I'm Heather Blaze. You got to bear with me a little bit. My throat is a little bit sore today. I thought I was feeling fine up until about 5 minutes ago. But anyway, for years, I also struggled with the same limiting beliefs that kept me feeling stuck. But once I changed my mindset and I applied the right strategies, I went from barely getting by to consistently closing high ticket deals and creating a business that gives me both time and money freedom. So, I mean, let's face it, right? Money isn't the be all end all. We typically want money so that we can have experiences, have that freedom, that flexibility to do what we love to do. And, we can always make money, but we can never get our time back. That time is actually the commodity. And if you're making a ton of money, but you don't have time, what's the point? So it's having that balance of time and money freedom. And now I help coaches, consultants, and experts just like you build predictable, automated systems to attract premium clients and dominate their industries. So if you're ready to reprogram your mind for success, then you're in the right place. So here's what we're going to cover today. Number one, we're going to talk about the top 3 broke mindset beliefs that are probably sabotaging your success. The second thing I want to cover is the millionaire mindset shift that separates struggling entrepreneurs from high earners. And the third thing is the exact strategies that you can implement today to break free from financial limitations and start scaling your business. And stick results even faster. So let's go over the first thing. The first thing is that it's the broke mindset that's holding you back. So before we talk about how to fix it, we first need to identify what the problem is. So here are, oh, that's weird. I don't know if that's just on my end or if it paused and then sped up. Anyway, um, before we talk about the thing, let's talk about the problem before we talk about how to fix it. So here's the 3 most common limiting beliefs that might be keeping you stuck. The first thing I hear all the time is people say, people won't pay me high ticket prices. So if you believe people won't invest in high ticket offers, you'll subconsciously sabotage yourself into undercharging and attracting low quality clients. I had a client that was doing just that. She was stuck selling $97 courses and barely scraping by. And I mean, if you think about it, right? How many 97 courses do you need to sell if you're trying to make 10,000 a month, right? And you're only selling something for $100, you're going to need that many people to buy it. But if you have one high ticket offer that's 10,000, you only need that one client, right? So once we positioned her offer and shifted her belief, and I showed her how to communicate. Well, first we had to really hone in and get her clear on what her value was, and then how to communicate that value so she could effectively sell her offer, or what she was offering for 10,000. She closed her first $10,000 client in less than a month. And the reality is people pay for results. They don't pay for your time. They don't care about how long it takes. In fact, the quicker the better. They probably pay more if they can get the results quicker, right? So think about this. Would you rather pay $200 for a car that barely runs, or $30,000 for a high-performing luxury vehicle that lasts for years, right? And the same goes for your expertise. When you clearly demonstrate the value and the transformation that you provide, the right clients will pay you what you're worth. So, and if they don't have the money, guess what? If there's a will, there's a way. They'll find it. And I teach my clients all kinds of ways to, again, communicate the value. How do you help them find the money? Things like that, right? Because if they really want it and they're really committed to getting result, and you might be watching from other, parts of the world in Europe and things like that, but there's always a way to get more money. There's never more time. We can never get our day back or our time back, but we can always make more money. So the commodity is really the time, and people will pay to save that time. So if you've been undercharging because you think no one will pay more, it's time to really shift that mindset, because the right clients will pay you what you deserve if you position yourself and your offer correctly. Another common limiting belief is that I have to work 24/7 to make money, or I have to work crazy hours, like so hard, right? A lot of people, I have a client right now, her offer is worth so much, but well, we've all been programmed our whole lives in our society to be workers and to trade our time for money. So one of the things the first thing I work on with my clients is deprogramming all those 30, 40 years of programming that we've been taught to be workers, trade our time for money. We uncover the value that they really have to offer, so that they gain clarity on it, gain confidence from that clarity. And then we figure out, okay, based on that, we look at data of what their ideal client would be eager to pay. And we price it so that it's a bargain. So even though it might be a $3,000, $5,000, $10,000, $12,000 offer, that is, it ends up being a bargain for whatever they are, whatever results or outcome they're getting for their clients. So anyway, if hard work alone guaranteed wealth, construction workers would be billionaires, right? Because they work hard, they work a lot. So the key isn't working harder, it's working smarter with the systems, with automation and leverage. Wealthy entrepreneurs focus on high impact activities and they delegate the rest. So imagine a chef trying to cook every dish, serve every customer, clean every table, and handle all the finances all alone. That restaurant would fail, and it would fail fast. And I've seen it. I've seen it firsthand when I was with Quiznos. That the franchisees that would try and do everything themselves, they would stand behind the cash register because they were so scared of somebody stealing from them that they wouldn't see what was going on around them. So the ticket times were slow. The portions weren't. It really impacted the quality of everything, right? And then their business suffered. People stopped coming back because they expected, fast times. They only had so much time for lunch. They expected to have the same thing that they had last time, or at a different Quiznos was the restaurant. And it was, they were cheapening on the meats, or they were, doing things that were against the recipe. So it wasn't the same, because when you go to like a McDonald's or you go to a Starbucks and you get your usual, you expect it to be the same thing at each location, right? Anyway, back to my point, because I'm veering off track here, but the restaurant would fail if that chef had to do everything. So instead, top chefs, they hire kitchen staff, they hire servers, they hire managers so that they can focus on what they do best. And the same goes for your business. You need to automate your systems, and you need a team so that you can scale. Okay. And it doesn't have to be a huge team. You can do a lot. You can probably hit, up to probably, I would say, at least 50,000 a month on your own. And once you hit that mark, you're probably going to need some help. But you can automate pretty much everything as a coach or a consultant, or an expert, without having to hire too much staff. Because there's so many platforms and systems out there, if you know how to do it properly. So anyway, ask yourself, are you spending your time on income producing activities, or are you just staying busy? Are you just doing busy work? Because I see that a lot too. So if you're stuck in the grind, it's really time to rethink that approach. Again, shift that mindset. And then the third mindset block that keeps most entrepreneurs stuck is they think, I'll figure it out alone. I'll do all this research and I'll figure it out. I'll look at a ton of YouTube videos. I'll read a ton of books. I'll do all this stuff. But the problem with that is that, again, back to that employee mindset. You don't really, if you've never been taught to have a business, most people, they end up creating a job for themselves because that's what they've been programmed to do their whole lives. Go to school, get good grades, get a good job, work, do. Then they want to go start a business and they're like, I'll figure it out alone. And it's almost like building a house without an architect, right? Or building a house without the blueprints, or trying to put the blueprints together without going to architecture school. Like, you're not going to build a house without following blueprints, or what's going to happen. And you're not going to just put together a blueprint that's going to be a solid blueprint to build a house if you haven't gone to architecture school, right? Just doesn't work. But you have an idea. You have an idea that it needs a strong foundation. You know, it needs a frame. And that's the same in business. You need a strong foundation. There is framework, but again, every business is different. You're different. Your knowledge, your wisdom, your expertise is different than anybody else out there. Who you ideally want to work with, and what your overall arching vision of what you want your business to look like is also different. But all those things still need to fit perfectly around the framework. Does that make sense? So this is a really dangerous one. And the most costly one. The most successful people invest in mentorship, coaching, and systems that really fast track their success. They don't spend a lot of time researching and trying to figure it all out on their own and trying to do everything themselves, because that's a slow and painful road to either burnout or the finances go out, because every month you're paying out bills. Every month that goes by that you don't know how to make the money, right? To get the right people finding you, calling you, and paying you, that are out there looking for you, but they just can't find you. If you don't hire somebody to teach you that quickly, then that's money that's not going into your bank account to pay those bills, right? The longer it takes by researching and trying to figure it out yourself, and trying to reinvent the wheel when the wheel's been done over and over again, just find somebody that's done it, implement it, and start making money as quickly as possible. Think of it this way. Would you try to perform brain surgery on yourself? Of course not, right? You trust an expert who has done it hundreds of times, and the same logic applies to growing your business. So if you want to succeed faster, learn from those who have already walked the path. And if you've been trying to do it all alone, it's time to shift from this, I'll figure it out, to who can help me get there faster? That's the real question. Does that make sense? Write in the chat here if you're with me on the live, or even if you're not, maybe you're watching this on a replay, but put in the chat if that makes sense. And then let's move on to number 2. So now that we've identified the limiting beliefs, let's replace them with the mindset shifts that will actually make you money. So the first shift is to move from scarcity to abundance. Okay, scarcity to abundance. I call it scare city, right? And this is the energy. If you're in scarcity mode, if you've got anxiety and scarcity and desperation, because funds aren't there the way you want it to go, right? Then, and you don't have that consistency, people tend to get into this scarcity mode, especially if they've gotten laid off or quit their job and now they're all in on this, and then they're kind of throwing stuff up on the wall to see what sticks, and nothing's coming together because of what I said a minute ago. They can get into the scarcity mode, and when you enter that scarcity mode, that's the energy you're projecting, and then guess what shows up? Because what you put out there comes back to you. So if you're putting this scarcity out there, it's going to come across as desperate. As much as you try not to come across that way, people can feel it, they can sense it, and you're just going to attract more of that. But if you're shifting from that scarcity to abundance, it's a different energy, right? You're coming from abundance, you're coming from knowing, you're coming from clarity, you're coming from confidence. Like, I know this works. I know I've got my system set up, and I've got calls getting booked on my calendar, and I know exactly what to do to turn it up with ads and all this kind of stuff. Like, you've got clarity around how to do it. That's where the confidence comes in. And then when you feel confident, it's an abundant feeling, right? Broke entrepreneurs focus on what they don't have and what's not working. Successful ones focus on opportunities. And the wealthiest people understand that money is infinite, and that the right strategy can unlock massive financial breakthroughs. So picture money like oxygen. You don't worry about running out of air, right? Like, you don't even think about breathing most of the time. Sometimes you take deep breaths, but most of the time you're just breathing freely, knowing that there's more than enough, and you don't even think about it. You're going to breathe the next second, right? So that's kind of how wealthy entrepreneurs think about money. It's always flowing as long as you position yourself correctly. If you've been operating from fear, it's time to switch to a mindset of abundance, because Money is everywhere. It's your job to tap into it constantly. So you always need to shift from trading time for money to scaling income. Okay. Going trading time for money to scaling income. So if you're stuck thinking, I need to work more to earn more, you'll never escape that grind. Because high earners create leveraged income through high ticket offers, through group coaching and automated funnels. So think of it like planting apple trees. If you pick apples one by one, you'll always be working. But if you plant an orchard, it produces fruit year after year without you having to replant each time. And that's how automation and scalable offers work. So instead of asking, how can I work harder? Ask, how can I create a system that makes money without me? That's what a true business is. And finally, what you need to do is shift from that fear to investment. Okay. So again, broke entrepreneurs, they hesitate to invest in growth. They're scared of the unknown, or it's like, what if this doesn't work? But what if it does work? Right? Wealthy entrepreneurs know that every strategic investment in knowledge, mentorship, and automation leads to exponential returns. So imagine if there's two people at a fork in the road. Okay. Two people forking the road. One takes this long, rocky path, makes every mistake along the way. The other follows a well marked paved road laid out by a guide. Who gets to their goal faster? The one who invests in the expert guidance, right? So if you've ever been afraid to invest, remember this. Every successful entrepreneur has done it. If you want to grow, you need to start thinking like them. So now, before we wrap up, I want to give you a bonus tip that can completely shift how you approach business growth: the power of proximity. So you've probably heard the saying that you are the average of 5 people that you spend the most time with. Well, this applies to your financial success as well. So if you're constantly surrounded by people who doubt themselves, who undercharge and make excuses, that mindset will rub off on you. But if you start surrounding yourself with high achievers, entrepreneurs who are closing 10K, 50K, even 100K deals, it's going to transform the way you think and operate, right? Because you're going to start seeing like, well, if it's possible for them, it's probably possible for me. Or if they're doing it, why not me, right? And if they're going through the same struggles and stuff, but then achieving it, you can tap into them and get answers really quickly. So I had a client who was really struggling to get past the 5K months because everyone in their circle believed that making 6 figures was impossible. The moment they invested in the mentorship and got into a new environment, their income doubled in 90 days, right? They came into the community. Our community is full of really heart-centered, amazing people that are helping other people, because I help people, right? I help people set up their business systems so that they can go on to help others, like therapists, relationship coaches, healers, what else? I mean, I don't know, designers, artists, all kinds of people, right? I don't work with a lot of artists, but I've worked with a few. But mostly people that are out there in the health and wellness space, a lot of wellness coaches, things like that. They're helping people get well, they're helping people heal, they're helping people live their dreams, things like that. I work with a lot of amazing people, and we have a really incredible community. So when she came in, it was just a game changer, right? And they're all up to building high ticket offers and learning how to communicate their value and command these premium prices and stuff too. So go ahead and ask yourself, who am I learning from? Who am I networking with? Who am I modeling my success after? Because if you want to grow, you need to put yourself in rooms where success is the standard and not the exception. And this is exactly why I created my Fast Track to Money Blueprint program, is so you can be in proximity with winners and get direct mentorship and fast track your success instead of wasting years figuring it out alone. So now if you're serious about breaking from that broke mindset and scaling to 6 or 7 figures, don't just sit on this information. You got to take action, right? Take aligned action. So here's what you need to do next. You need to subscribe to this channel so you'll never miss another one of these videos that's packed with really high impact strategies. The second thing, comment below, say hi, let me know that you're here. You can put hashtag live if you're here live. You can put hashtag replay if you're here on the replay. And what's the number one mindset shift that you know that you need to make? You can put that in the comments. So I read every comment and I want to help you break through. The third thing that you could do is you can join my free masterclass where I walk through the exact process my clients use to land premium clients and build businesses that run on autopilot. That description, or that link, I should say, will be in the description below. So you can click on that. Remember, nothing changes if you don't take action. So success is, it's not about wishing, it's about doing. Okay. So today we covered the top 3 broke mindset beliefs that are holding you back. We covered the millionaire mind shifts that you need to adopt to start winning, and the exact strategies that you can implement right now to scale your business and attract premium clients. The choice is yours, my friend. So you can either stay stuck in the same cycle, or you can step up, make the necessary shifts, and finally build the business and life that you deserve. And if you're ready to take action to the next level, then don't miss my next video that's coming up right around here. You can click on it right after this. I'll show you why expertise matters. And you don't want to miss that. So I will see you in the next video, and hopefully next Thursday at 3 Pacific time or 6 p.m. Eastern time live. Mark your calendars. I'm here every Thursday, or like I said, subscribe, click that notification button, and I will